Spring 2021 came and it was time for me to start prepping, thinking about what I was going to do for my senior thesis film. Horror's always been like my favorite genre of film, so I always knew that for like my thesis film, it was probably going to be that. I really like this idea about this like girl who was like home alone or something like that, and she gets like these weird creepy phone calls, and it like relies on like suspense and like theater of the mind and like using the audience's imagination to fill in the blanks and to scare. I kind of just like tweaked the idea a little, added some stuff, made it a little more layered and deeper. um, so elevated horror is pretty much another fancy term for like psychological horror. Modern day elevated horror films, they're a little more philosophical, they go a little deeper. There's like really big messages behind it. There's like a lot of symbolism and metaphors. The film is a metaphor as a whole. This main character, Allison, is trying to overcome her fear of her home, her father's death, and facing her fear of going up to the third floor where she found him. As it progresses, she like sees the staircase, she gets progressively closer to it, and then the climax of the film, and she goes up there and faces her fear, but it does come with a price. When I knew it was going to be my thesis film, the first thing I did was, I believe I wrote a treatment of the film, which is like a breakdown of like act one, act two, act three. It's kind of like the film, but in like story format. And then I started writing my first draft, which went from draft 2 to 3 all the way to 7. It ended up being the final draft. 7 is really not that crazy, but it was crazy to me because I felt like I was going crazy writing 7 drafts over 2 months. Filming. As much as I loved being on set, it was like the most stressful part because there was so many different moving parts, especially when you're the director and writer, and usually you're also the producer in independent filmmaking because you don't have a lot of people and you're doing like a lot at once. Any minute you waste brainstorming a resolution for an issue is money wasted. But I was very lucky because nothing major happened on set and it went pretty smoothly despite the general stress of having a whole list of shots and scenes you have to get done from like 12 o'clock p.m. to like 8 o'clock p.m. So one of them is probably the first scene we shot in general, which was it's like the daytime bedroom scene in Allison's bedroom where her and her best friend have like a lot of heart to heart moments. And I just think like the dialogue is like very good in that scene and the acting was like really great from like the two actresses, and it like looks great in the film as well. So every time I watch it, I'm like, wow, it's like pretty to look at. Um, it was made with love, passion, blood, sweat, and tears. Please watch it when it's out. Support us on Instagram, Boo Official Film.